Hey everyone, it's Dr. Karen, the women's midlife specialist. And here is a lovely 59-year-old who is postmenopause and she is only using a vaginal estradiol, which is called estrace. This is the classic prescription that we prescribe or conventional doctors prescribe for vaginal atrophy. So she's not on any bioidentical hormone replacement, just this estrase, and her last time she used it was a week ago. So we have to remember that these reference ranges that ZRT provided us is for women who are not on any bioidentical hormone replacement. Okay, so her estradiol is zero point 0.8, which is normal for no replacement. Her progesterone is normal, 22, lower end of normal for someone who is not on bioidentical hormones, but her progesterone to estrogen ratio is low, so she's quite estrogen dominant at 28. So, still significantly estrogen dominant, even though she's not on any hormone replacement and uh, normal in reference ranges for someone who is postmenopausal. And I want to remind you as to why this happens. So, estrogen declines at a 35% reduction rate between the ages of 35 and 50 ish, and progesterone declines even faster at a 75% reduction rate. And so it can go on for some time. The average age of menopause is 52, but it can be older. It can be over here. So this entire graph shifts to the right. So we have, if you're looking over here at say 40, 45 years old, there's much higher, much bigger difference between estrogen and progesterone levels than there is over here when we're older. Now, AS is 59, so she's over here, but we don't know when she went through menopause, and it appears that really her graph is shifted more to the right. All right, so let's continue looking at her other hormones. Her testosterone is 24. We're going to look at the graph in just a minute, and this is actually average for someone who is not on any hormone replacement. And her DHEA is 10.8, which is actually higher than normal for a woman not on any replacement. So here are some graphs. It gives you a better idea. She's 59, so she's at the low end of normal for her age. She's not optimized, but she is in this blue section, and her progesterone is down here at the lower end of normal, down here, and her testosterone is pretty much average for someone her age, not on replacement therapy, and her DHEA is up here, so you'd think that maybe she felt a little bit better than someone who had a low DHEA down here. Optimal would be over here around age 30. We're way up here at this nice level when we're 20. Saliva cortisol in the morning at 6 or 7 when she did it was okay, pretty much average. So let's take a look at some of her symptoms and see if that can help us any at all. Okay, so her vaginal dryness is she ranks as severe. She doesn't have a whole lot that she ranks as severe. She's on this estrase, but she's still ranking this as severe. And look at this, she's got a sugar craving that she ranks as severe. And she's got bone loss and sleep disturbed as moderate. Evening fatigue is moderate. She's got some weight gain in her waist, low libido, loss of scalp hair. Here's another severe weight gain in the hips. So, really, when you look at all of the symptoms as a whole, we see that low androgens is her primary area of concern. And then the second is a deficiency in her sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. And then she's kind of got a clump. This clump, these three kind of look like they're similar 29.5, 29.9, 28.9. These are similar and they are both high and low cortisol and metabolic syndrome. Okay, so we've got sort of a batch of different things, but mostly we've got low androgen symptoms, estrogen and progesterone deficiency symptoms, and then we've got some cortisol and some metabolic symptoms. And the three main complaints that she has is weight gain in the hips, sugar craving, vaginal dryness, and so we don't like those. Okay, so let's see what we can do to get AS a little better off. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we definitely want to optimize her sex hormones. This is a big area of her concern. So it's the second thing, estrogen and progesterone deficiency. So she's got a ways that she can go, but I think based on her symptoms, perfect dosing is going to be about 2 pumps twice per day because she's not terrible. She's in the reference ranges, but she is not optimized. And not only will this hormone having 2 pumps twice a day bring up her levels nicely, it will also balance out this progesterone to estrogen ratio and get her out of estrogen dominance, which is what we want to do. Then, even though her DHEA is a little bit higher than her age, what women in her age are, it's still not optimized. And her testosterone has a ways to go if we want to optimize that. And the key is that's a main thing that she's complaining about as well. Low androgens is the number one thing. So we can supplement with 5 milligrams of DHEA and bring that up a little bit. That will also help with DHEA and bringing all of these things will help with that bone loss concern that she has, and it will help increase that testosterone a little bit. Now, because her testosterone is in the middle of the road with her age and the symptoms that she has, and her DHEA is a little higher. If she knew of a physician in town that she trusted, she would actually be a good candidate for a little testosterone. About 1 milligram, maybe 2 milligrams would be adequate. And I think this she would actually benefit from that and enjoy that. This DHEA will bring her testosterone up a little bit. The question is, since that's her main symptoms, androgen deficiency, and her levels, her DHEA is not really low, testosterone's not optimized. But if the DHEA by itself doesn't get her where she wants to go, and this, we're optimizing her estrogen and progesterone, that's going to make her feel a whole lot better in and of itself. So if that's the case, then I think it might be worth going and talking to a local non-conventional physician that understands testosterone for women. A 1 to 2 milligram dose would be adequate. Okay, so all of these support her sex hormone symptoms, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and DHEA, and I'm very comfortable with this suggestion recommendation. Now, her three main symptoms, though, I want to look at, and that's vaginal dryness, sugar craving, and hip weight gain. So she only uses this estrase once a week, and that simply isn't frequent enough, and we see that as her still complaint. So I don't think once a week would probably be enough. You can try 3 times a week of estrase. This is sure to work. Or you can go with the Happy Hoo Hoo, which is a DHEA and progesterone suppository, and that will support your vaginal area as well as give you just a little bit more DHEA and progesterone. And on top of that, you won't have fear of the estradiol touching your partner. That's something that our partners don't really appreciate having exposure to because DHEA and progesterone are actually quite good for a man, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, how about this sugar craving? So, these are moderate symptoms of that. Actually, she has a severe complaint actually for sugar craving, but there are also moderate symptoms for low and high cortisol. And that, of course, is, oops, let's get rid of that. Hold on. How did I do that? All right. So, Um, this is, if we go down here, we have low and high cortisol symptoms. That's this here that is bothering you. And the sugar craving could very much be coming from that. But because I'm just not sold on you really having this stress issue, I'm not sold on throwing in an adaptogen for the adrenals. Instead, I'm leaning towards really this sugar craving that is causing this. So, yes, I did this special for you. So every time you see me throw this up on Facebook or put it in any kind of booklet that we have or the book that I'm writing, then you're going to say, "Hey, Dr. Karen did that for me." So this is like this I'm calling the sugar cascade. It's actually the sugar addiction cascade, and this is where it comes from. So it starts with just eating sugar. That is just the very start. And sugar is anything that is something fast that breaks down into sugar. So it can be simple carbohydrates too, like bread and pasta, and of course, all of our sweets and a lot of the processed foods that have sugar in it, high amounts of sugar. Because what sugar does is it increases dopamine in the brain, and dopamine is our feel good brain chemical. And that dopamine is what causes addictive behaviors. It makes us want to have more sugar. So when we eat sugar, our pancreas starts to secrete insulin. And this insulin is what tells our muscles to take up blood sugar so we don't have all of that sugar floating around in the bloodstream, because that is very inflammatory and causes heart disease and diabetes and stroke and eye damage and kidney damage. So our brain is smart, and it says, I don't want all that sugar floating around in my blood. I want it to go up in the muscle. So it tells the pancreas to secrete insulin, and that's what happens. The pancreas secretes insulin, and it that signals the muscles to take the sugar up and drop the blood sugar level. When the blood sugar levels drop quickly, and that's what happens, the high insulin levels start stimulate our fat storage. So the blood sugar levels drop quickly, and high insulin levels start stimulating the body to store fat. And then when the blood sugar levels drop, the brain signals you. It says, wait a minute, now my blood sugars are low, because those muscles take in all of that sugar, and it signals you to start eating sugar again. So it's this perpetual snowball sugar addiction cascade that goes on and on and on. And there's really only one way to break it. It takes about 21 days to truly break it, but breaking it requires you to do without, and that is really the truth. So there's these moderate symptoms of low and high cortisol, and stress is only rated as mild. So I am absolutely sold that this is what's going on with you, and it's not really an adrenal issue. So basically, I'm going to recommend this: a low glycemic carbohydrate diet. That means really getting rid of those high glycemic carbs and getting rid of all those carbohydrates that break down quickly. And I want you to eat more healthy fat and adequate protein. And you're going to do this by eliminating breads, pastas, and all processed foods. So get on your warrior workout boots, because this is what's going to really break that sugar addiction. Take a look at this and follow it very closely, and you're going to break that sugar addiction. All right. So, I hope this was a helpful video for you, and um, I hope that this helps other women too. And give me a thumbs up. Let me know you like this video, and I will see you soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.